So the question, okay, you go. No, you.
No. After you.
The polite Canadian insists it must be you.
Well, hello, everybody. And welcome to an impromptu edition of JVology Live / the very important partner. All of our shows are wrapped in one. And yes, we have come together. I brought Jay on because as Director of Member Care, I'm hearing from a lot of our members that they want to know, like, hey, Krista, what do I need to do to get ready for this? How do I get ready for JVology Live? What are best practices? How do I get prepared? What do I want to do to bring my A game? Like, I can tell people are fired up about this, right?
Yes. And it's so funny because I think after going to so many live events, I kind of have like a standard strategy that I go through in terms of the process and how we go about it and all the rest of it. And I do think that it's well worth setting aside. So I have my top 10 list. And we will also add, what's that? 10?
10, huh? All right, everybody, grab a pen and paper. Jay has 10 tips.
Which, for any of you who know me, by the time we're done, that's going to be 19.
That's 10.
Okay, so first and foremost, because there are going to be people watching this who have not yet registered for JVology Live. So what I would like to do is let's just start from the beginning a little bit about what we're talking about in all of those pieces. So for those of you who have not registered yet for JVology Live and gotten your ticket and actually committed to redesigning your business model using joint ventures, let me just say, I think you're batshit crazy and you should register now. The link is in the chat. Get the damn thing done. Now, on a serious note, what we're talking about here is a 3.5-day event where it's called JVology Live, where we teach entrepreneurs to reinvent their business model to create a steady stream of free, perfectly qualified leads to your business and a steady stream of recurring passive income to your business through creating win-win-win partnerships with other JV partners that serve our clients better. Would you add anything to that?
It sounds like you might know what you're talking about and perhaps have done it before, because that was pretty darn amazing.
It is not my first canoe trip. Now, here's the honest goodness truth about that. If you're sitting there going, I wonder if we should do that, I will just share briefly my experience of it, which was with my personal development company. We had a closed system where we did not use partners in any way, shape, or form. We had our own facilitator training program. We did all of our own marketing. There was only ever one person on the stage. Like, we didn't do any of those sorts of things. And it took me 15 years of working like a madman to break 7 figures in annual sales, like 15 freaking years. And then fast forward, utilizing joint ventures. This is the difference, and this is the ease, and this is the joy, and this is the profitability. Years later, we did our Mastermind to Millions event, which was all driven by JV partners, and we did $1 million in 3 days. So
big difference.
Oh, yeah. So I had to have more hair if I hadn't done like there'd definitely been more hair. So here's the point to it, is that if you ever feel like you're working a little bit too hard for not enough, you've got to integrate joint ventures. You just simply must. So that event
also, with the way things have changed, the way business has been done just over the last 3 months, and the way business is pivoting, you have to stay on top of it. You can't keep doing business the way that you have been before. And this is going to be a great opportunity for people to reassess their business, how they're talking to customers, where their customers are, and what it means to build relationships with other peers in business to be able to get your message out clearer. So if nothing else, just come for that point alone is going to make a big monumental difference in your business and how you look at it. You're at all restructuring. Positioning, all of those pieces can happen during these 3 days as well.
Well, I love that you brought that up, because I literally just got off another interview with Heather Pierce Campbell, a brilliant lawyer. She was at our second event like 3.5 years ago in terms of this process. And she was saying, it was like, I knew walking in the door that what I needed was collaboration and partners, but I had no idea how to structure the business. I had no idea how to invite them. I had no idea how to put systems in place. And it was just perfectly clear to me in 3.5 days. It's like, this is the place and I need the support and we're going to do this. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It's more important today than perhaps it has ever been. For sure. Okay, so that's what we're talking about and getting ready to get the most out of those 3.5 days, because here's the honest to goodness truth. I believe this with every cell of my being, is that you should be there. And the only sort of relevant excuses is that if you, in those 3.5 days, if you have something that's guaranteed going to put $100,000 in your bank account, go do that. Or if there's a funeral. Exactly. Or if there's a funeral, or if you're getting married. Other than that, get your ass to this event. And by the way, I guess funerals and weddings are probably happening online anyway these days. But so that's the key piece of this. So in doing so, hello, Karen. So great to see you. Yes, I'm so excited for you guys to be a part of this. You were going to say something? Tell them.
Well, first of all, hi, Karen. We're thrilled that you're going to be a part of JVology Live in a very special way. But that reminded me, before you go any further, Jay, I see we've got a lot of people that are tuning in. And just remember, if you are watching where I've shared this video, go back to the original post, which would be the Jay facet in the blue shirt above the video. Click on that so you open the original page. Then your comments can come over here where we can see them and we can bring them on screen and make sure that we're here and we know that you're there and we can answer your questions. If you're just in a little chat on one of the Facebook groups or on my page, we won't see you. So take that one extra step, click over there and then say hi like Karen did.
Yes. And if you have any questions, just on that note, if you have any questions whatsoever about that, then you can 100% ask them and we will do our best to answer them and make sure that we resolve all of those pieces. Okay. And if you can bear with me one moment while I'm trying to figure out this, I don't know how to figure that out. So I'm going to leave that alone for the time being. And gang, here's the honest goodness truth about it, is that as we get closer, like we're on the 10-day countdown. As we get closer, it is the amount of details and the amount of people registering and all of those things, trying to do this as powerfully as possible, gets a little urgent. So my phone is ringing off the hook and we're setting it way over there. So on that note, here's the top 10 list in terms of getting the most out of JVology Live. And just to be clear about this, is that I built my business attending events. When we decided that we were going to evolve from personal development and transformation into actually reaching a broader audience in the globe and all those pieces, I built fundamentally attending events. So these are not random pieces. This is how we went from a brand that didn't exist to, $2.6 million in 14 months doing what I'm about to share with you. So for crying out loud, pay attention. As clear as I can say it.
Do it, fully show up.
Exactly, which is number one. That is the first thing, which is to guard the time. There's going to be more distractions. Part of me setting the phone over aside. There's going to be more distractions. If you're still homeschooling kids, if you still have things going on around the house, if you're trying to build your business throughout this entire process, I want you to truly, genuinely, in your heart, mind, and soul, say that I am leaving to attend an event, and I want you to give your entire heart, mind, and soul to the entire piece. This is not something that will create value for you if you think it's going to be like, I'm going to play it in the background while I'm knitting, or I'm going to play it in the background while I'm cleaning. That like, honest to God, don't even come. Like, seriously, that's a waste of your time. And just to be clear about it, in terms of how the thing is set up, is that we are going to be doing short blocks of content and then joint venture invitations. And here's one of the key promises, is you will get to meet the other attendees and actually do practice and formal joint venture invitations throughout the entire event. So that means that you're going to have an opportunity to actually have real conversations with like 200 people about, this is who I am, this is what my JV invitation is, this is how this is going to work. And if you are present and participating, you'll leave with partners. Like, that simple. Anything to add? Okay, so here's one of the things that we've been talking about. I think
we still have 9 more things on the list.
Okay, and here's one of the things that we have been talking about, and I haven't settled on it just yet, but I'm certainly leaning towards this, because we're going to be moving into our tables or breakout rooms, those sorts of things. Is that if you are not there, is that we'll just simply remove you, meaning that if you got a thing like because we can't put you in a room and you not be there. Like that doesn't jive. If you are coming to the event to actually meet and get partners, it'd be helpful if you were there to actually meet and get partners. So that is one of the things that's going to transpire. Is like, if we put you off into a room and you're not there, we're just going to boot you out of the event. You can come back, after the next break or whatever the case may be, but that's not going to work. So really commit. So that's number one. Number two is every single person should be setting some objectives. And those objectives from this perspective should probably be in the range of the number of partners that you're going to get. You could translate partners into leads. You could translate that into podcast interviews. Heck, you could even translate that into what, if you know your systems well enough, into what that's going to be for long-term cash. But please don't show up. It's like, well, I hope something good happens. That is not going to actually work in any way, shape, or form. So set some objectives. What I find for most people is that the objectives are probably set a little bit too low. And what happens is when people come, it's like, oh my God, the quality of the people. Oh my goodness, the opportunities. Oh my, like the amount of I have more conversations in these 3 days. Like Charisse, I'm thinking of Charisse. She said that she got more done in her business in 3.5 days than she had in the previous 2 years because of the quality and the caliber of the conversations. So, my invitation would be to like set a pretty damn bold goal and then get in and connect like mad. So that would be number two. Partners lead.
I'd say not only is your intention about how many people you're going to connect with, but also are there pieces within your business that you're looking to hone in on? Are you creating a program? Are you creating a package? Are you, what pieces aren't quite there yet that you want real life feedback? Yes. Are you still working on a title or your messaging? Because when you have all of these people that are professionals and in on the same conversation, and you can share that with them and get immediate feedback, and then you can get a lot of clarity around these pieces that you might be still just kind of wondering, like, I want to do this, but I haven't quite honed in on it. And once you see that and that opportunity, it can help you get laser focused and go, boom, here's my answer. Now I can move forward.
Well, in fact, so remember I said that, hey, Deidre, so great to see you. On that note, let's actually, because this wasn't on my list, so I told you the list was going to grow. On that same note, is that we have an incredible group of coaches that are there to serve and support you through the event and connecting the dots. So, for example, Krista is one of our brilliant coaches. Virginia, Joshua, Robin. So people that have really been a part of our community, know the JV community, know the JV process incredibly well. So on that same note is like, get clear exactly as Krista said. So where do I need support in this process, and bring the real questions to them. And as a part of your registration is that you get like frontline in the trenches support and guidance for what you need most. So give some thought to that. And by the way, we will help clarify that we have a pre-event mastermind. We will help clarify what that is. If you're still a little bit foggy about it, you will know perfectly before you sit down in front of one of the coaches, and they will serve and support you like in a beautiful and powerful way.
Yeah, just a quick example of that. I think of James Lamb, who's now in our mastery program, came to JVology Live knowing that he wasn't really happy with the way his business was going, but wasn't quite sure what to do or which direction to go. And by the end of those 3 days, the light bulbs went off. He jumped in with us, and everything's falling into place. And now he's on fire with his message, his delivery, like everything is firing in all cylinders. And that happened over the last JVology Live in San Diego. Yeah.
He literally sold a different business, repositioned, and got aligned with what he wants. And by the way, he's one of the brilliant VIPs that you will meet at the event, and just somebody you need to know. Simply put. By the way, same is true for Deidre, who was just on there. She's going to be there. You should know her as well. Okay. Going back to objectives, and yes, we're jumping around, so there might be 27 points. Going back to objectives, the other objective that you should really give some thought to is, what are you going to give? So we have a couple of, let's call them mantras or beliefs about our community. One of which is, a joint venture is a game of I'll go first. And it's one of the reasons why we have joint venture invitations instead of pitches, is how can I contribute? How can I actually make a difference? How can I become relevant? How can I really connect and do something meaningful for another human being to become relevant and on their radar? So here's just simple examples of what can you give, what can you contribute. So if, for example, and I know that we've got a ton of podcasters coming up in this, I think we're going to have like 9 to 12 brand new podcast launches that are going to like overlap with this, which is totally exciting. As a result of one of our community members, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner, who just have done a great job. So what can you give? Could you give a seat on a podcast? What could you give? Could you do a Facebook Live? Could you do a email swap? Could you share some content that you have that could make a monumental difference for people? But I want you to really come prepared to give as meaningfully and as significantly as you can, because when you do that, what you'll find is that you are like a magnet for the right people to connect, serve, and support you. So in terms of your objectives, like come being like in the spot to give your heart, mind, and soul, as I give a lot and don't break your mic. Okay. The next one is visit the Facebook group. Can we get this is many people probably watching in the Facebook group, but if not, we should put the Facebook group in. So there is a JVology live Facebook group, and I want to just be very clear about this. What I'm saying here is aimed at people who are registered for the program, because there's a whole bunch of peaches, probably peaches too. There's a whole bunch of pieces of content and support in the Facebook group, and it is a place for you to meet people ahead of time. And I just want to say, we have gone to great lengths to make the experience as immersive and as interactive and as personable as possible. And I believe, based on what we've done, lots of people are going to have more partners before the event starts than in the past when people would get partners at the end of the event. And this is just one of the ways in which we are going to do that. And like, get to the Facebook group, introduce yourself, follow along, say hello, and reach out, because the truth is this: the event, for all intents and purposes, if you're already registered, the event has already started. There's a place for you to connect. There's a place for you to meet. There's a place for you to say hello. There's a place for you to share the JVology roadmap, which is the next thing on my post. Anything else you'd say about the Facebook group as I'm babbling?
I was just going to lead that into the roadmap is not only being delivered to you in your inbox, which you probably aren't looking at too much. So we know. It's okay. We know. So we are also putting that same daily content of the Joint Venture Success Roadmap in this Facebook group that I just posted here in the comments. I'll pop it up on the screen there. And each day, we're on day 4 actually already, but you can easily catch up. There's small actionable steps. It may be something to do. It may be just something to think about. It may be a way to reach out. But each of these days are strategically getting you closer to showing up full out for the event. Mm-hmm. So people are asking, what do I do? Well, follow the roadmap. That'll help.
Yes. And honest to goodness, if we go back to my first suggestion, which is to show up, like to truly show up, is that those folks that don't do the roadmap end up spending significant time sort of getting caught up. It's like, what was that? How did that work? All the rest of it's like, look, it's already there. Mm-hmm. So what you want to take advantage of while you're in the event is the higher level strategies that I will share and tools and processes, and meeting people. Those are the only 2 things. Try and get the foundational concepts and tools under your belt before showing up there. And that's what that roadmap is designed to do. So make sure you look in your email for the roadmap. If you have not, and by the way, just to be clear about this, it's a 14-day mini course. And in those 14 days, it has more value than a bunch of things that I've seen people charging like $1,000 for. And we just give it to you as a part of the preparation process. So for crying out loud, do it. Okay. Where am I on my list? Okay.
And roadmap.
Yes. Okay. So tied to the roadmap, as you get further along in the roadmap, it's going to talk about what we call a JV one sheet or a joint venture one sheet. And all a joint venture one sheet is a single page description of what the joint venture opportunity is for a peer or a partner. So if we're having that conversation, they're like, hey, that sounds really fantastic. Can you give me more details? Everything is on that page. Now, I'm not going to tell you any more about that except to say, guess what? How to do it and how to prepare for it and how to get it ready is in the roadmap. So go do the steps, get that framed out. The other part of that is you don't have to bring it polished and fine-tuned, will actually help you refine that. And you're going to get a bunch of feedback in the JV invitations. They're going to say, well, maybe tweak this, maybe tweak that, maybe say this, maybe. So don't like, well, this isn't a physical, I was going to say, don't make 100 copies. As I guess you're not.
Hand them out for your dog.
But have a framework that you can use, and we'll continue to enhance and improve that.
And I just have to say that what I think is the best part about JVology Live is it's equally a learning, teaching platform. It is an education platform on how to do joint ventures, how to do it right, and the components of your business that need to be strong to make that happen. And equally, a space to meet joint venture partners and to do the introductions and do the invitations, all of those things. So it's both together. It's not that you have to show up perfect and only do invitations because that's all we're going to do. It's not just 3 days of breakout rooms of, go network amongst yourselves. It's not that at all. It really is about, Jay, I think you're the best in the industry when it comes to training and teaching the mechanics, the understanding, all of these intricate pieces that come with doing joint ventures. And you're getting both over these 3 days. So the roadmap can help. You can, rough draft it, do what you can, but know that we're going to help you perfect that and answer your questions. That's what we'll be doing together.
Yes. And you will know that you have done it well because you will leave with partners. And that's the magic trick of the universe. I love that. So on that same note, then to me, the next step is this: set time aside for follow-up. And if JVology Live has a flaw, it is this: you will have opportunity overwhelm. There are so many fantastic people, and there are so many amazing projects, and there are so many things like, I want it, that would be awesome. And you're going to have to figure out how to vet, filter, commit, plan, structure, and strategize. That's just going to have to happen. So that means you've got to have time for follow-up for those conversations. So if I were in your shoes, if I was doing JVology Live from the, counting our pre-event from the 11th to the 14th, I would set like 15th, 16th, 17th, maybe that entire week, half days of that entire week for follow-up, commitment, and hammering out the details of the people that are going to want to play with you. And I've had people say, it's like, you want me to do what? It's like, listen, you could book an entire year of joint ventures out of this one event. So that's going to take some mechanical structures. That's going to, so you're going to just have to invest that time. So if that means, getting some support, getting a VA in place, getting whatever it is, I would strongly suggest you do that, because the event is the beauty, but you still got to put the pieces in place to actually get the deals done. So set time aside.
And use a calendar link if you're not already. Do yourself a favor, set that up. That's going to be your best way to share and set appointments with one another.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now, on that same note, getting support, and I want to be clear about this. So whether you know it or you don't know, I'll be clear now. So in events like this is a foundational event. And if you're going to truly redesign your business model so that this is just the way you do it, that's going to take some support. That's going to take some assistance. And I would say, I believe every single person should be considering, what is the support I require to build the systems and the structure so that this actually works. And we will, of course, have opportunities available for support and structures. We have some guest speakers and sponsors who come in and talk about their pieces. I think we've got 2, possibly 3 speakers. But I want you to really consider, as you go through this, what is the support that I actually require to make this happen? And, most of you have heard this story, and if you haven't, I'll just give you the highlights. I'll tell it more in JVology Live. I was quite certain that I could do this on my own. I came from this personal development business. We were doing strong 7 figures. We'd been working at it for years. We've got 40,000 grads. I'd like to think that it's, not my first canoe trip. I can figure this shit out. And honest to goodness, I spent damn near 3 years burning money trying to reinvent the wheel and do it myself. And it was, I've done a lot of silly things in my life, but that is like
up there.
Yeah. It's like in hindsight, it's like, good Lord. Anyway, my point to this is, Don't do this alone. Get the support that you need. And by the way, if that's from us, we would love to serve and support you. If that's from somebody else, we would be thrilled about that. I'm actually agnostic about that. What I am committed to is there should be no one who leaves JVology Live saying it's like, oh, I got that shit. I can do it on my own. Like if you believe that, either you are a techno wizard with the best relationship skills in the entire universe, or you fell and hit your head. It's one of those two things. So we all need support.
I haven't met Jay.
What's that?
And if any of you haven't met Jay, hold back. So
yeah. So and just to be clear, but I still hire support in this domain. Like I still hire support.
The more successful you are, the more support you need in it, because there becomes more moving parts.
Correct. So do understand that as sexy and attractive, like free leads that are perfectly qualified, and that is damn sexy. Let's be clear. There are tools, systems, structure, staff, all of those pieces, and strategy. I mean, you've got to understand it for that to truly work. So just be open to asking the question, what is the support that I need, and how am I going to get that in a meaningful manner? And by the way, here's one of the ways in which we provide support. You want to talk about the VIP page? VIP page?
That was your idea. It's a very important partner pass.
Mm-hmm.
So the very important partner pass is it's our upgrade. So when you go VIP, that means, well, we used to give you lunch. Let's just be honest. It used to be we were all met at resorts. Then there was a different agenda behind the VIP. It was additional speakers and great food and cocktail reception and wine and things that we just can't provide virtually. So we got together as a team and said, all right, what can we do that can really, really provide value unrelated to delivering food at their door, because that's just not going to happen. And decided the best thing we could do is give you the exposure, visibility, and help you be seen. So what I've been doing, if you see our little frame here that Jay and I are in, is the very important partner show. And for all of the VIPs who sign up, I've been doing about a 4-minute interview with them, featuring who they are, what their business is, who do they serve, and what type of JV partner are they looking for. And all of that is in our group, in our page, which I'm going to pull up in just a second. I can't really talk and pull links quite as well as I can.
And I am actually in the midst of sharing the page here as well.
Okay.
And that way you can, come on, Camper.
As Jay mentioned already, we're using several different measures to get people engaged, get you engaged in not only knowing what you're up to, but beginning to meet people in the community if you don't already. And that way you'll know who you want to get to know better while we're at the event. And here is the very important partner page that Jay is showing you right there. And there's the beautiful Heather Pierce Campbell, who Jay was just talking about, and Ridgely. So they're both going to be providing incredible value. And some of our mastery members, people who've been with us, and some people who are brand new to JVology Live that have chosen to become a VIP so that they can be featured here. That way you can go onto the link. I just posted it, except it showed me an error.
It's looking okay on this side.
Okay, perfect.
And if I may, just when you go to visit that page, you'll see that you can actually, if you're trying to figure out, are our values aligned? Do we really solve a related problem? You can actually just go right to their gift URL and opt in and say, it's like, oh, hey, this is what my tribe would get if we were to actually share this. And it's like, hey, I want to do that. You can go right to their partner sign up form and actually sign up as a JV partner for that person. So a bunch of what I'm going to call the friction and the follow-up and the details and all those sorts of things that used to happen live in person, it's like, hey, we're actually online having this conversation. I can watch the 5-minute interview. It's like, Greg and Antonia, who are two amazing human beings. They do some of the best healing work in the universe. It's like, hey, I want to do something with them. Poof, it's there. So, this is when I say it's like literally for the people who have actually committed to being very important partners and having the very important partner pass and those sorts of things, the event has already started and people are already getting partners and affiliates signed up and people checking them out. So that's one of the key pieces. Like, go check out the page and number one, connect with whom you want to connect with, because it's already underway. And if it's like, hey, wait a second, I'd like to do this, then you need to make sure you get the VIP ticket and or upgrade to the VIP ticket. I feel like I'm missing
that. It's not too late. I'm actually continuing to do these interviews all this week. And Brad, who is our back-end Infusionsoft expert, is adding people to this. So it is an ongoing live list. It's going to continue to grow up until our event begins. So go ahead and you can jump on right now. It's there in the chat and start looking around. And if you want to be on that list so that people are seeing you and getting to know you and what you do and who you're looking for, then get there. Mm-hmm. Upgrade to VIP or join JVologyLive.com as a VIP. And that will get the visibility and presence that you're looking for.
Yes. And then the last on my list, at least currently, is we have created what we call the partner creation package. So it's a physical box that will be shipped to anyone who is in North America. And I know we've got people from South Africa, France, Norway, Australia, Germany, like all over God's green earth. And unfortunately, if you are remote outside of the US, you're going to get the digital equivalent package, which means you'll have to just get your own wine glass and a couple of other things. But on a serious note, when you get that box and that package, I would strongly request that you actually unpack the box, take a picture, post it on Facebook, tag us. You know the tag thing better than I do. What's the tag thing they're supposed to? Is just JVology Live?
Hashtag JVology Live. Yeah. And do a little video, like an unboxing video. They're really fun. You can post it in the group. You can definitely post it on your page and let people know where you're going.
Where you're going, and let people know what kind of partners you're looking for, all of those pieces. So use it in every single way under the sun. And those are that's my top 10 list in terms of what to do. If there's any questions for anyone who's on the call live, if you ask a question, Chris and I are happy to answer it, of course. And I think the only other thing that I wanted to let people know about as well is that if you have somebody in your life, in your world, who's an entrepreneur that you deal with, coach that you'd like to figure out a JV with, anything, for goodness sakes, please share with them JVology Live. One of the things that I get asked over and over and over and over and over again by people coming, it's like, I so wish that my friend Bob was here because it's going to be hard to describe it to them. And anyway, people come back to JVology Live time and time again. Heather, for example, saying that she thinks this is her 5th or 6th JVology Live, which it's like, I'm not sure I've been to that many, but it's like, but on a serious note, instead of coming and discovering what it is, and then it's like going home and trying to say, so Bob, we should do this. Just say, hey, Bob, attend this with me. And what will happen is we will do the heavy lifting for your friend, your potential partner, all the rest of it, to see how JVs fit within their business model. And then you can simply say, it's like, hey, I think you're upstream. I think you're downstream. I think this is how the deal could work. This is how we could work together and collaborate. This is how we could contribute more value to our clients. This is how we could make more money and have more fun. So if there's anyone who you think you should be doing business with, for goodness sakes, just share with them and drag their ass.
Yeah. Save yourself the headache of trying to explain something you're just learning, and instead let Jay, who's the expert in this, teach him. The more you have people aligned, that's the beauty of coming to this event, is now you're in a room full of people who are learning the same thing. They have the same grounding. They understand how it works. And so you're all speaking the same language, and that makes it so much easier, at least to get started. Then as you're more comfortable, of course, you'll begin to reach out, and anyone can become a potential JV partner. Absolutely. Bring them in. I do want to mention, if you already are signed up and you're already a VIP and you haven't created your interview with me yet, I'm going to throw that link down here in the chat, the JVology type form. Click that, do it right away, because I'm scheduling this week. So make sure you're in there. So that's just a shout out if you're already registered but don't have your video. And yes, Charisse is amazing. So glad that you're going to be there. She's another one of our amazing VIPs. And yeah, she gets the value of bringing people that you have someone on your radar. You don't even have to tell them that you want to do anything with them yet. Just invite them, and then it can all come together later.
As it often does. As it often does. Okay, I think those are all of the pieces on my list. And I think, sometimes like, holy shit, that seems like a lot. If we were just to summarize it in its simplest form is, one, set the time aside, commit, and actually show up in the same way as you were getting on a plane, train, or an automobile. That's the most important thing, is like, get yourself committed to it. The next piece is be prepared to give first, so that you can become relevant and connected to the people that you want to become relevant and connected to. And Charisse, by the way, you're just a brilliant example of that. If there was a Heart of Gold award from the last JVology Live, you certainly would have won it. So be prepared to give and contribute and make a meaningful difference. And the third is this, and this is something I haven't said before, but I'm just going to plant this seed. We want you to go through all of the prep tools so you land there getting the most value possible. So do your framework of the JVology, do all those sorts of things. But here's a little paradoxical bit of advice and wisdom in the invitation. But also stay open to what unfolds. Some of the best joint ventures that our community's ever had, like I'm thinking of Brad and Andrew Resmer and Hippocrates Health. Some of the best joint ventures that ever happened was not the thing that was on the person's one sheet. What happened was they built a relationship. They began to understand, what's the network, the wisdom, the resources, the experiences that they can bring together, and where could they have the most impact. And those are some of the most stunning things in the universe. So come prepared, and also come open, come curious, come willing.
That's incredible advice all the time. Whenever I show up to a new event, I just erase everything I've ever learned before, and I want to hear everything fresh as if I've heard it the first time. Because when you show up thinking you know everything or too much, it blocks what's to come and all the magic that can happen. So just come with a clean slate, ready to go, and open to meet people, and you're going to have a really great time. Absolutely true. That's it for me. That's it. Thank you, everybody, so much. We're really, really excited about all of this. So if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can also leave comments here on this video, and we'll check in. Sounds great. Thanks, Krista. We'll talk soon, and we will see you all at JVology Live soon, and be ready to have your world reinvented and your business made one hell of a lot easier. We'll see you there.